Fala pessoal, episódio 11. Hoje eu tô aqui com o Joe que é da Inglaterra, vai bater um papo com a gente. Então esse episódio vai ser em inglês. Se você não conseguir assistir em inglês, clica na opção que tem aqui do YouTube, onde ele automaticamente converte para português, coloca a legenda aqui e aí você consegue assistir melhor, tá bom? Já deixa o like pra gente, se inscreve no canal e bora pro vídeo. Joe!
Victor,
Thanks for being here, bro.
no worries, my pleasure, my friend.
How are you doing today?
Yeah, doing very well.
Yeah.
Yourself?
Yeah, not too bad.
Yeah, good. A little bit nervous.
A little bit nervous.
A little bit
Same,
nervous,
same.
but it's nice,
I'm,
yes.
I'm nervous as well, because every time when I do this interview in English, it's a new challenge for me as well. It's much easier if I talk to them in Portuguese, you know?
You've only done one in English, haven't you?
Yeah, just one with Chris.
Yeah, cool.
He knows Chris as well, so you know, like my mind not thinking Portuguese and English. So I was just telling them, like, if you want to check this video in Portuguese, you can, because YouTube now has this like just a button, you know, like that you can press, and then it will translate to Portuguese. So
straight away.
Yeah,
cool.
So easier.
Yeah, nice.
And yeah, Joe, tell me more about you. Like, how old are you?
So yeah, I'm 29 years old.
29.
I'm from England. I moved to Australia in 2019. So
same as me, 2019.
Are you coming 2019 as well?
Yeah, a little bit before COVID.
I didn't realize you was here for that long.
Yeah, and you that long as well.
Spent the whole time in Sydney.
Not 3 years and a half here in Sydney, and then I moved to here, Perth.
I see. I started off in Brisbane. So when I came in June 2019 with two of my friends who landed in Brisbane.
Oh, in Brisbane.
Yeah, Brisbane was nice.
Why Brisbane? Why did you move to Brisbane?
Well, when we was first looking into Australia, it all happened quite quick. But we was talking about Australia a little bit, and we was looking at places in Australia.
Yeah.
And Gold Coast we kept coming up with Gold Coast, and it looked good and it sounded good. And Brisbane was the nearest airport to Gold Coast, right? So we got a flight to Brisbane, saying we're going to go to the Gold Coast, but we ended up really enjoying it in Brisbane and spent a good few weeks.
I haven't been there. I want to go. Yeah.
It's good.
It's good.
Yeah. Brisbane's really nice. It's not as busy as Sydney.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot quieter than Sydney, but it's still pretty busy still, if you know what I mean. Yeah, in the city. The weather's a lot better than Sydney as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, for sure. The weather in Brisbane, I think, is the best. Especially Queensland, North Queensland, definitely.
Yeah,
the best
I was like, when I was coming to Australia, like before, I had to choose between like Sydney and Gold Coast. That was my two goals that I want to go, you know, like. And then I said, oh, I don't know. And then my friend told me, I think you should go to Sydney. And I said, why? Because Sydney is busier, you can find job easier. I don't know if that's true, but that's why I went to.
I've not found it difficult to find a job since being there. Because that was one thing I worried about as well. I thought, am I going to get a job? Is people going to hire me because I'm a backpacker and this and that? But you find out.
But you're right. You don't have this.
I suppose that, of course. But you're still worrying about obviously getting a job. It's a big move, you know. You need money. And I remember when I first landed in Brisbane, I was just sort of going through Facebook and Gumtree, making calls. And I was quite hesitant to tell them I'm a backpacker. Okay. Because I felt like if I told them I'm a backpacker, they might not want to hire me. But it was actually the other way around.
Because they know that.
Yeah, they say, oh, this is a backpacker.
He's going to stay just for a while and then he can go.
Yeah, kind of like also that, but also as well, just not being an Aussie, I just thought it might be a little bit of a disadvantage. But I actually found out when I said I was a backpacker, I got more of a positive response. And so, oh, sure, I'll come pick you up next week, you know? So I've not found it difficult to find a job. It's not necessarily.
How long did it take for you to find a job?
When I first got it?
Yeah, your first job.
Actually, it took a while when I first got it, because when we first arrived, like I said, I arrived with two of my friends. We sort of just enjoyed ourselves for a week or two in Brisbane. Sort of went out, seen the place, nights out and stuff.
Living the dream, eh?
Literally living the dream. So after 2 weeks, we kind of said, yeah, we want to stay here.
Oh, cool.
And then part of the working holiday visa I was on, you had to do working holiday visa. Part of the visa was to do agricultural work. So you had to do 3 months of either regional work or agricultural work. We just, same again, I was just scanning through Facebook and we found a farm to work on north in Bundaberg. So we said, all right, we'll get our 3 months done now. because we've already made the decision we're going to stay.
Yeah.
So it was like, okay, we'll get a job on the farm now. So my first job was actually on a farm. So,
okay, your first job on the farm.
Yeah, my first job was on a farm. It was probably the worst job I've ever had as well.
Oh.
It was, did you do agricultural work or any farm work?
I haven't done that.
Well, there was this thing at the time, I'm not sure if it's still legal, but they used to do this thing called piece rate.
Mm-hmm.
So a piece rate is basically you get paid per fruit, like per bucket.
Ah, per fruit.
Yeah,
so
yeah. And
if you pick more,
you pick more, you get more.
Oh,
but even if you pick more, you get nothing. So it's all a scam. It's all a scam. But we had to do it because, I mean, the farmers knew we had to do it because it's part of our day. It's part of what we needed to get our second working holiday visa.
But did you have to move, or you did that in Brisbane as well?
No, we moved. We moved to Bundaberg. So in Bundaberg, there was like working hostels.
Mm-hmm.
Bundaberg was quite popular, actually, I think, for farm work. Because when we arrived there, all the hostels were packed out. I think me and my friends had to wait 2 weeks on a waiting list just to get in the hostel.
Mm-hmm.
And then part of sort of how a working hostel works is once you get in the hostel, they get you a job. But that doesn't necessarily happen straight away. So it took us 2 weeks to get in the hostel, and then about 2 weeks till we got our first job. So yeah, about 6-7 weeks of landing it took me to get my first job. But like I said, I wasn't actively looking when I first landed.
Yeah. You just enjoy a little bit.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, my first job was, I remember it was a tomato farm. It was a company called Cooper's. And we was picking both cherry tomatoes and then the big tomato as well. And I remember we got put on the cherry tomatoes, and I remember looking at the buckets for the first time. And they're quite big buckets. And obviously you're talking to the farmers, oh, how much we're getting paid per bucket. And I think for the cherry tomatoes, it was something like $5.17 per bucket. And then for the bigger tomatoes, it was like $2 per bucket. But we was doing cherry tomatoes this day. And so we got put on the row, and you sort of pull up in the ute. It was about 20 minutes from the working hostel. So you wake up in the morning, you get in the ute, or we got in a little minibus, and they drive all the backpackers out to the farm. So we got to the farm, got a tag. So the way it works, you pick the fruit, and you're tagging it. So your tag's got a number in it.
Okay,
obviously that's what they count in the end. But wow, it took maybe an hour to fill a bucket. Do you know what I mean? And some people it took even longer because you're getting put on a row. You don't necessarily know there's a lot of fruit on there. But I was thinking, I was quite optimistic. I thought, I might be able to make a bit of money here. I'll try hard. I think it got to about 11 o'clock, and I filled 5 buckets.
Oh wow!
So that's $20, and I was putting in the work. I was putting in work. I wasn't really slacking.
Okay, you can make even 40 if you want, right?
What, $40?
$40, yeah.
Yeah, if you're really fast. If you're really fast and you're lucky enough to get a good row, but yeah.
I don't know if it's still like that.
Nah, I think they've clamped down on it. I don't think it's as popular it was back in them days, because farmers were taking advantage of the backpackers.
Yeah. I saw that as well.
But I did a lot of piecework jobs. So we did tomatoes. I did lemons as well. That was piecework. Japanese pumpkins. That was very difficult, Japanese pumpkins, and that was even piecework. And some of these piecework jobs, you're getting paid $70 for the day, and you're working hard, eh?
Yeah.
Like you're working in the sun from 7 till 12, 1 till whatever, and you're getting paid nothing.
But at that time, did you know that I want to stay here in Australia? You knew that?
Yeah, but 2 weeks after being in Brisbane, I was like, I want to stay
that's
here.
the place.
This is where I want to be.
It's a bit different, right? If you compare to your
for sure, a big difference. I mean, just in the weather.
Yeah,
it was sunny for over a week. You know, back home you're lucky to get a sun for 2 days in a row. Do you know what I mean? And just that difference alone is a big difference. You know, sun is happiness.
And why you guys all thinking about Australia? Why Australia?
I don't know. It was quite funny how it happened. So I had a close friend to me, Chris. He already been to Australia. So he came to Australia, I think it was in 2017 or 2018.
Your friend?
Yeah, my friend. And this was prior to us going, obviously. And he came back. He loved it. He kept just saying good things about it. And it was one night. It was a Friday night. It was around my birthday. And we've gone out with my friends, just gone down to the local pub. Something kicks off at the local pub. I end up going home. I'm going back with 2 of my mates, and one of my mates, Chris, and my friend Harriet. And we're just sitting in a car, just hanging out, just depressed about the place. We're like, this is shit, you know, shit weather. We're going to the same pub, sort of doing the same stuff we were doing when we
Doing
was
the same
18,
stuff,
you know?
right.
When we were still
You need
17,
some
18.
changes.
Yeah, there's a few changes, had some nicer clothes, a bit more money, but apart from that, we were still going to the same places, you know? Doing the same stuff. And yeah, we were just saying like, God, there's got to be something more, you know, than this.
Yeah.
And then Chris was like, you should go to Australia. Like, you guys will love it. And it was like, yes. Like, it was never really on our radar at all. We were just saying, no, there's got to be something more.
Yeah.
But then we kind of looked into it a little bit. Like that night, we was looking, and that's when we was looking up stuff, and that's how we ended up looking at the Gold Coast. Oh, Gold Coast sounds amazing. Yeah. Surfers paradise. Wow, like that's where I want to live, sort of thing. So after the conversation, it was late. It was probably like 1 or 2 in the morning, and then we all went home. I didn't think much of it, and then my friend Harriet rang me up or sent me a message or whatever. He's like, my visa's just got accepted. I was like, oh. I was just sitting on my phone, not necessarily doing anything. I was like, oh, okay, like, I'll go for my visa.
So you really going?
Yeah, so we're going, all right, we'll do this, let's do this.
Let's do this.
So I ended up getting my visa as well, and same, it just came through straight away. And then after that, it was like, whoa, this is happening now.
Happening.
Yeah, this is happening. So
I'm on the plane.
I started getting my budget together. I think I've worked for another about 4 or 5 months, saved up a bit of money, and yeah, we both got the flight. And
did you apply your visa by yourself, or you had
I applied it myself. It was pretty straightforward, Like, as long as you don't have any sort of criminal record or anything, any cautions or anything like that, it's pretty straightforward.
Yeah, good. Yeah, I remember in Brazil, like I was planning to move to Australia as well, and saving money. But if you compare the weather, like from Brazil to here, it's pretty much the same, you know.
Quite similar, yeah.
But the thing is, cost of living, like Brazil, you cannot afford to buy like a nice car, you know, like nice clothes. I mean, you can, but
what's the minimum wage in Brazil?
I don't know, like because we have like the minimum per month, and if you compare like I don't know Australian dollar to Brazil, it will be like I have no idea, but
quite low.
Low, yeah, like
because I think the minimum wage here is $27.
Yeah.
So maybe a little bit less, $26.
In dollars, it will be like $3, or less, even less.
Yeah. And that was one of the motives.
I don't know. I have to check. I don't want to say anything. You know, like
but that was one of the motives to call.
So, for example, if you have here like minimum salary, like 24 per hour, 27,
yeah,
right?
something like this, yeah.
You still can get a house. You still can like buy a car if you want. Of course, you have to save it.
Yeah.
You can, enjoy.
Still enjoy your life and buy some luxurious stuff.
Not in Brazil. No. I mean, if you live with your parents, like they help you, you'll be okay. But if you are by yourself,
it's difficult.
Be tough, yeah. And what about in England? Like, can you afford?
I wouldn't say it was as tough as maybe Brazil.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think recently, I mean, I've just not long come back from the UK, and recently I've noticed prices have gone up by a lot.
Going up.
And we don't get paid as much in the UK as they do in Australia, but the prices are quite similar.
Okay.
The fuel is expensive in the UK. I think when I was there, it was at £1.60. So that's maybe just under $3.
$3.
And the fuel here is $1.70 maybe at the minute.
Yeah.
That was a big difference. Groceries quite similar. The meat's a little bit cheaper in England. Rent, I couldn't tell you about rent because I've never rented in England. As soon as I left, I just left from mum's. But when I spoke to a few friends about my rent, so for example, at the minute now, I'm paying $310 a week for an apartment.
Which is a lot.
It is a lot. It is a lot. It is a lot. But you get a lot for that. I got a sauna, a gym, a swimming pool. It's quite a nice fit out.
But the price is increasing here.
Yeah, I mean, but okay, so $310 is maybe £180. For £180 a week, you wouldn't get what I've got in the city. You maybe get more of a sort of a lower standard apartment for that money. Maybe not as in a good location as I am and stuff like this, but there is also. It's a lot easier to get a rental in England right now because obviously there's a housing crisis here. So I don't know, a lot of people are struggling for rent. But I'd say living costs, you're better off in Australia.
Okay.
Right now for sure. Yeah. Just because of the sheer fact you get paid well. You do get paid well here.
Wow, good.
And that helps. That helps a lot.
That helps a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
Good to know. Because some people, they ask me, they send me a message like, hey, ask him about the cost of living in England, you know, because I think they want to go to England as well. And I reckon it's good. I mean, if you want to learn English as well, do you think they are more open with immigrants as well? Like, friendly?
Well, I'd say the Aussies are a little bit more welcoming.
A little bit more welcoming.
I was a little bit worried about this. I was worried about maybe being, I don't know how they would take me being from England, but everywhere I've worked, 99% of the people have took me in and had a laugh, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
They got good banter as well in Australia, especially some of the older fellas, like they're a good laugh. So I've not really seen any like racial discrimination across the board, but like 99% of the time was pretty good. I'm very well respected and yeah, nice.
Yeah, cool.
Whereas in England, there's a little bit more tension.
In England,
so, yeah, a little bit more tension. A lot of people are more on edge in England. I think a lot more unhappy people in England. So that can also cause maybe a bit of friction between certain cultures, certain backgrounds. But Australia, definitely good.
Good.
Yeah.
So
I've not experienced anything.
You're in love with
Yeah. 2 weeks, I'm here. I'm here forever.
After 5 years.
Yeah, for sure. And yeah, hopefully for another 5 years to come.
Yeah, you'll be here forever, bro.
Yeah, I hope so. Hey.
And how was it for you? Why did you move to Perth? Because you landed in Brisbane.
Well, I've lived in Sydney, I've lived in Brisbane, I've spent a little bit of time in Adelaide, but I was in Bundaberg doing my farm work again, because for the second year you have to do 6 months farm work, and then you're going back to Bundaberg. And just with a group of friends, we ended up traveling up to Darwin. Yeah, so we all did a road trip. So we went up to Magnetic Island from Bundaberg, and then from Magnetic Island into the middle to the national parks, Kakadu, Litchfield, Nipmuc, sort of went around there. Then we went up to Darwin, met some more friends, and then we all did the West Coast together. So from Darwin, we sort of went back down to a place called Lake Argyle, which is really nice. And then from Lake Argyle, went to Broome, and then Broome was sort of our start point of doing the West Coast, and then Perth was the finish point.
Yeah.
Never really had any plans of staying in Perth. I mean, part of backpacking, you don't really know what's going to happen next week or happen in a month. You just keep going. So we sort of just did this trip until we sort of ran out of money. So we went from Broome down to Exmouth, Shark Bay, all the way down the West Coast, and ended up in Perth and had no money because we just spent it all on the road trip. So I ended up I got a job. Got on the phone, got a job in Perth, ended up enjoying my job, enjoying the company. So it's still the same job I'm at now, as obviously you know. I've been here for like 3 years now. And
how many years? 3 years?
3 years, yeah. Oh, 3 years. Just over 3 years I've been in Perth with the same job. And it's just from me enjoying that job, it just made me sort of stay here a little bit.
Yeah.
And then staying here, I ended up getting a rental, started to look around a little bit. And I really enjoyed the West Coast. I thought I could do that again and again and again. And Perth's got a nice vibe about it. It's not too busy. Similar to Brisbane, not too busy, but still busy enough so you can still go around. You can still buy a laptop if you want. You can still buy a new phone, buy some nice clothes and stuff. Because that's one thing I noticed when I was in Bundaberg, how difficult it was to get something nice. You know, you had a JB Hi-Fi still and stuff like that, but if you wanted to get, I don't know, some nice trainers, you had to go to Brisbane or you had to go somewhere big for there to be like a Foot Locker or a JD or even like a David Jones or something like this. But yeah, Perth, I enjoy Perth.
I like Perth as well. I was just telling a friend, he lives in Sydney, and he's like, oh, here everything is getting so expensive. I said, bro, you need to move. You need to move from Sydney to, you know, come to Perth or go to whatever, because like you come from Brazil and you are here, or you come from England, whatever, you know, like you had to move and now you are stuck in there. Like, come on, just move, you know, like if you don't like it.
If you don't like it, you can just move. Yeah, that's the good thing about this. If you don't like somewhere, you keep moving.
And there are a lot of differences like between the states as well, right? Like in Australia, for example, New South Wales, Victoria, Western Australia, you know, that there are big differences.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, they've got their own governments, they've got their own almost laws and stuff like that. But Perth's not really spoke about as much as the eastern places. For example, I didn't really know much about Perth when I first come to
me
Australia.
neither.
You know what I mean? I didn't really, the people I was meeting as well, I rarely met anyone that's been to Perth or came from Perth. So it was never really
know about Perth. Like, what is Perth? You know?
yeah, for sure.
Sydney, Gold Coast.
Yeah, it's just Melbourne, Sydney, and Brisbane, you know. But we got the. But yeah, no, we ended, like I said, we just ended up here on a road trip, and now I think there's a bigger backpacker community in Perth now for sure than it was when back in 2019. There's a lot of people here sort of working on the mines. They've got a good mining work out here. But yeah, I think for me, 50-50, Brizzy or Perth, I could live
Oh,
yeah, 50-50.
Good.
Yeah, for sure.
And right now you're studying, right?
Yeah. So right now I'm studying carpentry.
It's on the lease, so you wanna.
So yeah, I want to do. I'm also interested in building and stuff like that. Obviously, with the job we got now, we're working with steel a lot. So yeah, studying Monday, Tuesday, and then working for the rest of the week, and then in a year's time, hopefully graduate, and then.
Yeah, you're about to graduate, right? So you're gonna.
I've still got about 9 months left to graduate.
9 months,
yeah, 9 months left to graduate, and then on to the next step, get the graduate visa and.
Graduate visa, yeah.
Follow through and. Fingers crossed, get the residency.
Yeah. I'm on the same boat.
Yeah. So you want to stay here just as much as me, right?
Yeah, I want to stay as well.
Yeah.
When I first started here, when I first arrived in Australia, I didn't want to stay, to be honest.
Yeah.
I just came to learn English, and then after a while, I had to stay because COVID. Nowhere to go, and I met my girlfriend, and she's like, "No, I want to stay here."
Yeah, no. So she wants to stay.
She made me like she helped me as well. Like
nice.
And now I feel like, oh yeah, because like here is much better than Brazil. I told you, but you still miss sometimes your family, your friends.
It's hard, yeah, for sure. That's difficult.
When you went to your country right now, like a month ago, right?
Yeah, I got back only last week actually.
Last week,
last week I got back.
And how was it? Did you feel like, oh, that's it, I'm done. I don't want to.
I come back more motivated to stay in Australia for sure. But it was nice because that's your home, that's where your family are, that's where your childhood friends are. It is nice, but
it's weird, right? I mean, it's your home, but you don't feel like
it doesn't
it's
feel
my home.
Yeah. It's gone past that point now. I came back to Perth and I'm like, I land in Perth and I'm like, yeah, this is home,
Yeah.
But apart from my family and my close friends, like there's not much going on there for me, especially in Leicester where I'm from, like. Apart from the football team, there's not not much there really, Whereas in Perth, everything's there, man. You got the beach, 10 minutes drive from my place.
Yeah.
You can go to the beach after work, go out on your bike, go fishing. Like you can be outdoors more. And I think I definitely recommend coming to Australia if anyone's got outdoorsy, whether you like mountain biking, fishing. It's the best place for it, just because of the weather.
Yeah.
You can actually go do things, like back home. I think
you actually feel happier, right? Because
sun is happiness. Sun is happiness. Like
vitamin D, you need it.
For sure. Because even going back home, I was planning on hopefully playing a few rounds of golf with my dad. But I think I was home for about 3.5 weeks. And maybe we got to play golf once or twice. Just because of the weather, we couldn't play.
Oh, okay.
And it's the start of summer there right now. Do you know? Like whereas here, if he came over here, we'd be playing golf every day. Every day.
Just tell your father, come to Australia.
Yeah, come, let's go. He'd come in a heartbeat. My father will come in a heartbeat. It's my mum. My mum's a bit 50-50,
50-50.
Yeah, because it's a big move. It is a big move.
It is, yeah.
I will, if I get residency, I will try.
Try to bring them. Because you are only child as well, right?
Nah, I've got a little sister.
Oh, you got a little sister?
Yeah, I've got a little sister. She lives in Birmingham. So I think that's more of a reason why my mum don't want to go, because obviously don't want to leave a baby girl,
Yeah, she needs to take care of her, yeah. And how was it for you, like, when you started in Australia, like you found a job and everything, about your English? Did you feel like, oh, they slang, they have a lot of slang?
They got a lot of slang here. Yeah, for sure. It's different slang to back home. I quite like it, actually.
It's still English, but...
Yeah, it's still English, but it's like, there's different English, like, I don't know, like smoko.
Yeah.
When I first heard of smoko, I was like, what's a smoko? That means break time. That's brilliant. That's that's good, And then there's just stuff like rido and and catcha. Like they just shorten things a lot, and they swear a lot more as well, But the lingo is definitely, like even they call the afternoon arvo.
Yeah.
Like when I first had that, what's arvo?
What's arvo?
When you think about it a little bit more, it's obviously afternoon, and yeah, it's It's interesting.
It's
That
interesting.
slang, but it's I like it. I
You
like
like it,
it.
you
I
like
like
it.
it.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
rolls off the tongue. I like it.
You feel like Australia right now, eh? Yeah.
Yeah, I do. You know what? If I'm talking to Australians, if I'm speaking to some, I don't know, some guys at work or any Australians, my accent almost changes and my lingo changes.
I've seen you talking to, you know, like, I don't know, Chris or something like, good day, mate.
Yeah, you have to look twice, or you think I'm an Aussie, you know. But if I chat to the boys back home, I get back to the lingo like crack back home, you know. So it's all about who you're talking to. But I think when I first moved to Australia, I was around backpackers a lot. I wasn't really around Aussies. So I almost kept my own lingo, kept my own sort of speech. But when especially in construction, working in construction, you work with a lot of Aussies then, and then the lingo is different, man. It's quite funny, you know.
It's quite funny.
Yeah. It puts a smile on my face when I hear an old Aussie accent. You know what I mean? For sure.
That's cool. And
Did you struggle with when you're speaking to Aussies? Do you
struggle? Still struggling like every time.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know why, but it's easier when I'm talking to you, for example, or than Jason.
Yeah. Okay.
Jason is the guy who works with us, and he's Australian.
He's Australian, yeah.
And I don't know why.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know why. I have no idea. And Alan as well. It's alright when I talk to him. Chris is okay.
Yeah.
Mark, sometimes I still have to like pay more attention.
Yes, the South African accent's a little bit different as well. Yeah.
But I'm not 100%. I'm still not 100% like comfortable with English as well.
The English is pretty good, eh?
It's okay,
good.
but
it's good.
Yeah, I mean, if you compare to like 4 years ago when I first started here, I couldn't talk to anyone.
Yeah.
But getting better day by day. That's the thing, like, because for you didn't have this barriers. So maybe it's for sure it's a bit better.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Right now, if you do the postgraduate visa, you don't need to do the PTE test.
Yeah.
And I need to study for that.
You need to study for that, man. Because that's pretty difficult, eh? That's pretty difficult.
And right now, because the rules are changing, you know. So they also increase the scores. So now it's 65, I think.
So do you have to do that for your graduate visa? You have to do this test to get your graduate?
Yeah, I have to. Yeah.
Before the visa, or do you apply for the? Do you apply for the visa then do the English test? How does it work?
No, I have to do the test before. I have to have this score, like I think it's 65 overall.
Okay.
And then I can apply for the visa.
Nice.
So
start revising now.
Yeah. I will
start revising now. You must pass that, man.
Well, I think it'll be okay. Let's see.
Yeah. I know a lot of people are struggling with it and stressing out about it, but just study hard, man, and just get that.
Yeah. What about your friends? Are they still here?
Yes. So one of them's still here. He's in Margaret River right now.
Oh, Margaret River.
He spent a lot of time in Adelaide. So me and my friends, we sort of split up when it comes to the farm work. I was more keen on going back to Bundaberg to do my farm work, whereas my mates didn't really like the farm too much. So he went and worked in Adelaide, because you could work in a regional area. It doesn't necessarily have to be farm work, but you could work in a regional area and, for example, do construction.
Yeah.
So I think he did some civil works in Adelaide, and that also counted towards his 88 days and 3 months.
But wait, so they count it as a farm job? That's it?
It's more regional work. It's regional work or agricultural work. I think that's what it says.
Okay, regional or agricultural. Okay.
So, but yeah, he went to Adelaide. Sort of not too long after his landing, and he stayed in Adelaide quite a lot. I think he enjoyed that. He's only recently moved to Margaret River.
Cold as well.
Oh, freezing.
Yeah.
Adelaide's cold. I went to Adelaide after Bundaberg again. I come down to Adelaide, and I was staying at my friend's house, and I think I lasted 2 weeks. And I remember I was working on a strawberry farm at the time, and I drove to the strawberry farm, and I just got out of the car, and it was freezing. I was seeing my own breath. There was dew on the floor, and I rang my friend up. Actually, I rang him up that morning, funnily enough, and I said, Harry, I'm going. I'm going back north. I'm gone. And then I ended up just flying back up to Brisbane. Adelaide was too cold. It reminded me of the coldness back home for sure. Because Brisbane's warm. Even Sydney's really warm as well. Yeah. Perth's a really nice climate. We're in the summer, like you get up to 35, 40 degrees in the summer. But Adelaide, cold.
Very cold, yes.
Yeah, it's cold. But it's quite a cool place, though. I'd recommend, 100% recommend visiting.
I've been there, I've been there.
It's quite old school, isn't it? It's
nice.
quite.
But I think it's quieter than a bit quieter
Than Perth?
than Perth. Yeah,
Yes, yeah, maybe. I think they're quite similar.
quite similar.
Quite similar, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I've been there just for 3 days, so I don't know.
You see, you can't really experience a place in
can't-
3 days. You need to
you
like
have to
live
stay
there,
little
work
more,
there, and
yeah.
then sort of visit in a place. You don't really get a vibe from it. But I've worked in Sydney, I worked in Brisbane, and I've worked in Perth. And I'd say working in Sydney is difficult. It's expensive to live in Sydney.
It
For
is
example,
expensive,
I was living in a single room with a single bed in Ultimo, just outside of Darwin Harbour.
yeah.
I was paying $400 a week for this place. Quite an old place, $400 a week for a single, and that's all I could get. I got another place in Redfern, which is just outside the city as well, and that was the same. I think I was like $380, but that was an even smaller room.
Yeah.
It's expensive in Sydney. You don't necessarily get paid much more.
No, yeah, you don't get.
So it's not the pay gap's not necessarily different. So yeah, I'd recommend Perth and Brisbane for sure. I mean, you enjoyed Sydney though, didn't you? Right?
Yeah, I enjoy it. It's cool. I mean, I still have friends there, and at that time I could, like afford my rent and everything.
Where did you live when you was in Sydney?
I used to live in Bondi Junction.
Of course.
Bondi Beach.
Of course.
All the Brazilians are there.
Of course. I think all the backpackers are there. Yeah, Maruba. I never really went to Maruba.
No, Maruba.
Was that down south as well?
Yeah, Maruba, pretty nice. But we went there like a few months ago, and the rent is just crazy.
Super high, yeah.
We checked it, like the same apartment that we used to live, it's like 3 times more than before. No.
So I think the cost of living is going up everywhere in the world for sure, by the sounds of it.
And I'm worried about that actually. Even here in Perth, I told you, right? Because my rent also increased. So
yeah. Mine went up as well.
Because I still have to pay school and all this thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's hard being a student in Australia. It's hard being a student in Australia for sure. Because I'm sure people know, as a student, you can only work 48 hours a fortnight. So you've got to somehow make that money stretch. And with rent going up, food prices going up. Well, I think the food prices are not going up as much now. I think they're starting to go down. But
yeah,
after you've paid your fee, your college fee, you paid your rent, paid your food.
Yeah, there's nothing left. You don't even have money to cut your hair. You have to do it by yourself. But the thing is,
hopefully not.
Right now, they think that that's our problem. Because they are trying to not punish the immigrants, but
trying to get money out of them. It's a money-making scheme.
That's not our fault. I don't think that's our fault. The immigrants.
Nah.
We are actually helping the Australians.
I'd probably say we work harder than most Australians.
Yeah, we are paying the tax and everything. So
yeah. But I think on a working holiday we was paying less tax. But now I think even on a student visa we're not paying. Because I think the Australian tax is around 30%, I believe. And I think on a student visa we pay a little bit less. But yeah, obviously with that, we're getting paid more. Everyone's getting taxed more as well. So it might seem, this guy's getting $38 an hour, but he is getting taxed a lot more than that.
Hey, I have this thing in my mind. I think once you told him that you used to live back in England, close to the guy who Peaky Blinders, right? Your house Birmingham.
Yeah. My sister lives in Birmingham. My sister lives in Dudley, which is north of Birmingham.
I love that series.
You like Peaky Blinders?
What's his name? Thomas Shelby.
Thomas Shelby, yeah. I must admit, I've only watched one season.
I've
only watched one season. I'm not much of a TV person, but
what do you like to do when you're here? Like on your free time?
So free time, I like to go running, just hang out with friends, play some pool, go down the beach. Just at the minute I don't get much free time because if I'm not at college, I'm at work.
There is no free time.
There's no free time. I think Sunday's the only day I'm not doing anything.
Work, study, that's it.
So, but even I've been on quite a lot of hikes over here. Went down to Bluff Knoll a couple times, down to Margaret River, down south. That's what I mean. There's a lot around Perth to do.
There's a lot, yeah.
Over New Year's, me and my friend, he's got a boat. We went down to Exmouth, went fishing for a couple of weeks. And then my friend who lives down in Margaret River, we go down there and then we go out on the bikes in Dwellingup, down there near Preston Beach. Just going out when I can. But like I said, after college, after work, comes to Sunday, I want to just fucking hang out and chill,
Yeah.
But you've got the beach, like I said, you've got a beach 10 minutes away. So you can just be like, I'm going to go catch a sunset. And just that, having that there makes all the difference. Like, you haven't got that back home. You know? You can't see the sunset. There's too many clouds in the sky, you know? Whereas here, like, 9 times out of 10, you're getting a nice sunset, you know? And it's nice, it makes you feel good. And then, yeah, that you got that mood moving forward, man.
Yeah, I was moving forward. I can see that now you are like, at least you feel more happy, you know? Like.
Yeah, I would say I'm a lot happier being here. Back home, it's not depressing, but you see the rain, you know, it's cloudy, you wake up in the morning, it's wet.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Sometimes you have to scrape the ice off your car in the morning, you got to get up earlier, man. You don't get that here. And I noticed it when I went home, I forgot how bad the weather was. I honestly did. I landed, it was raining.
Just raining, it's cold as well, right?
Yeah, it's pretty cold and it's wet. But the thing is, if it's sunny the next day, it's muddy from the day before. So if you wanted to go out on your bike or go on a hike, the ground's still muddy, and no one likes the mud, you know. No one likes to get dirty. So for sure, I mean, of course, there's going to be better places in England than where I live. And for example, like Cornwall's nice, Devon's nice, Cotswolds, even like Scotland. But I mean, I think Scotland has worse weather than us. But there is nice places in England, but you can't beat Australia. You can't beat the climate. Even the people are a little bit more positive, you know. Like when I was back home, I was in Costco just following my mum with a trolley. A few people are coming the other way, coming down the aisle. I let them pass. Not one of them said thank you or like cheers, mate, you know. But
really?
And that puts you in a bad mood, you know. It's like, why is no one saying thank you? And then it's sort of a knock-on effect, you know. Whereas in Australia, if I did that in Australia, no doubt a couple of people are like, oh, cheers, mate. Oh, thank you. Yeah.
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah, I did notice that a lot more, and I said, that's just another reason why I want to stay here.
I learned a lot here as well, because like when I went to Brazil, like you are buying groceries or something, no one said please or thank you. They say it, but not too often, you know.
Yeah, not as often as they.
Not as often as here. Every time, for example, when you go to buy something here, hey, how are you?
Can I have a people coffee? Are a little bit more polite.
Something like, and then you change as well. You know?
Yeah, exactly. It makes you a little bit more kind, a little more polite, and it's also safer here, you know. Like I remember when I first started working at Roy's, and we used to go out in the utes and we'll pull up to the servo in the morning. Guys would just leave the car running and just go into the servo. Like they used to get mad at me if I locked the car, and they got out the servo before me. They're like, why you locked the car for?
But do you have to lock the car when you are in England?
Yeah.
So people still.
Well, I think you should anyway, right? If you're leaving your car, you should always lock it. But over here, they just leave it running. They just walk into the servo, get a coffee or whatever.
The key there.
Yeah, I was shocked when I first seen that sort of stuff, and then. We have in England, we get a lot of break-ins in vans and stuff. So people get a lot of tools robbed. And you don't really hear about that as much here. Of stealing. I think maybe recently there's been a little bit more crime, obviously with the living crisis. Obviously more crime, more shoplifting. But for sure, overall, I feel a lot safer.
But back in England, people, they don't steal you like with a gun or something, right?
Nah.
Give me your phone.
Nah.
Doesn't happen, right?
Doesn't happen, right. Okay. That doesn't happen. As much as I can imagine, maybe it happens in South America, because I've heard some horror stories from South America, you know, like that. You just be walking down the street, a knife, give me your phone, give me your wallet. Yeah, just anyone going to school or college or work. So it's like this, yeah?
It's like that, yeah. And especially when you're going to the bank as well, like for example, you want to get some money, you know, like cash, and people, they are just, you know, like watching you.
And you can feel it, right?
You can feel that you are like scared, you know, like, you don't want to take the money, you just want to run away. Yeah, I felt that a lot when I moved to Australia. Like when I went to the bank or when I went to whatever, you know.
You didn't feel safe. You would have to look over your shoulder. So you've always got a bit of anxiety when you're walking around the streets of Brazil. Yeah.
In Brazil, when you are walking on the street and there's a guy coming. Two guys in a bike.
Yeah.
You know that. You know that. He's gonna do something with me. You know, like, I still have that in my mind because sometimes I'm walking here like with my watch and you know, like phone.
We're pretty safe here, man.
There's not. But in my mind, it's still like run. You know?
Yeah, of course. I mean, I wouldn't say I've ever had to look over my shoulder being in Australia. I mean, you do get a few active crackheads, you know, that are a little bit loud and they're shouting at you, but you don't really get like dodgy people looking at you like, oh, yo, that guy might rob me, you know. It's more like just some crackhead going crackers, you know. That's about as dangerous as it gets, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think I see it a lot more living in the city, but apart from that, you're pretty safe. You know?
You are, yeah.
Overall, you're safe, man, for sure.
Cool. Hey, Joe, I want to ask you a few things. Like, when you first moved to Australia, what was the thing that you had no idea about Australia there? You know, for example, I didn't know that Australia, they have like, I don't know, kangaroos or what else? You had no idea about Australia, you know, like when you moved, before you moved to Australia.
I think one of the first things that I didn't know about Australia, or I didn't know they had in Australia, was bin chickens.
Bin chickens.
Bin chickens. What's the name for them? You know what I'm talking about, though. Them white, eerie-looking birds with the big long noses.
Oh, okay. Yeah, bin chickens.
I'm not sure what
they like beans.
Yeah. But there's a lot of them in Brisbane. And
I didn't know that.
They're pretty big, eh? They're not a small bird. Yeah,
they are big.
That was the first thing I seen, and I was like, what the fuck is that? You know? Because it's scary, right? You see these bin chickens. They're not nice looking things, and there's a lot of them as well.
There's a lot.
That was one thing I remember first moving here, seeing one of them, thinking, wow, fuck. And then also seeing a pelican for the first time, that was pretty cool. I forgot how big they were as well. Like
pelican, yeah.
They're big birds, man. So that's a lot of the wildlife is different. Well, like seeing a snake for the first time, that was
first time I've seen a snake here.
Well, the first time I seen a snake was on the farm.
The farm, yeah.
And that was a crazy experience. That was scary. I was working on a sweet potato farm, and so all the backpackers, we were on the trailer behind the tractor. And the tractor's pulling the trailer, and it's got like a blade on the front of the trailer, digging in, getting the sweet potatoes, and the potatoes will come up on like a conveyor belt. So there's like 5 people on the trailer, a couple of people behind the trailer getting the things we missed, and then we're just sorting out the sweet potatoes, getting rid of all the dirt, all the mud and stuff. And I remember like the farmers, I wasn't really listening, but I remember the farmer saying like, if you see a mouse go on the conveyor belt, be wary because a snake would be following it.
Okay.
First few days, never really had any troubles, and then I remember this one day, I see this mouse come on the conveyor belt. And I was like, oh, I said something because I don't know if I was it's a mouse coming. I was like, yeah, just keep an eye out. Nothing happened. And later on that day, another mouse came up. And I was like, hopefully a snake. But a snake did end up coming up, but no one noticed. And then I think one of the girls at the end, she went, snake. And they stopped the conveyor belt.
Yeah. Which
I thought, they shouldn't have stopped the conveyor belt because I don't know if the snakes come off the conveyor belt.
Yeah.
And everyone was all like panicking, like, because no one's seen it drop off the end. And I think there was a few guys at the back, and I was like, everyone's seen the snake. No one's seen the snake, so everyone's panicking. I'm like,
where's the snake?
Where's the snake? And I'm not kidding you, the snake's just popped his head out near my leg. Wow, bro. I just screamed.
Big? Was it big?
Not big, but it was a brown snake. I think they're like fourth poisonous in Australia.
Yeah.
But it's just popped his head out, and it's only a small like head. But I could just see his head, and I just flipped. I flipped over the side of the trailer, just like nah. And the farmer's got out the tractor. He's got out the tractor, picked up his pitchfork, like, where's the snake? Where's the snake? You know? And then we're all looking for it, and I was like, look under the trailer, and he's looking under the trailer, and you see it, and then you see the snake coming out on the trailer. And he's chasing the snake. He was chasing the snake, and then he's dropped the pitchfork, and you sort of see him in the distance, and he's grabbed the snake, and he's picked
with his hand.
Yeah, with his hand. He's grabbed the tail of the snake.
Yeah.
And he just starts pursuing the snake. I was just whipping the snake like this, and then everyone's screaming. I was like, "What the fuck's going on?"
What the heck is going on?
And he's just come over, like laughing and that, like, "Oh, that's how you kill him, mate!" Like just whipping them.
Oh,
I was like, and he's just there holding this brown snake, just showing us all, and that was my first sort of experience with a snake.
You were like,
bad. Yeah, bro. That was because you're in the middle of nowhere. You know, the snake bites me. I don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, don't.
And like people are like, oh yeah, don't worry, snakes are scared of you. Snakes ain't scared of you, man. If it's hot and if it's hot weather, snakes get a little bit more energy. They're not scared of you. You like make some noise and the snake goes away. That snake didn't go away. Like we had everyone was screaming. The snake was still hanging about,
Yeah.
you know. But that was definitely an experience. First time seeing a snake, and since then I've always been very wary of snakes. But you don't, being in the city, you don't see.
Yeah, you don't
see snakes and spiders as much.
No, but I saw a snake last week. No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like not a snake, sorry, a spider.
Yeah.
Redback.
Oh.
They're quite dangerous, right?
Very dangerous.
Yeah.
I
even took a photo.
I think they're like the most dangerous, right?
They are, yeah.
I think so, yeah.
I showed to Chris. I said, "Okay, Chris, come here, have a look." He said, "Oh, that's normal." Okay. Oh, okay.
Just stamp on them, bro. Yeah, that's the difference between a spider and a snake. I'm not too scared of spiders because you can handle a spider, you know, just stamp on it, slap it, whatever. But a snake, like, I don't know what I'm doing with that. I'm not gonna slap the snake or kick the snake, am I? That's and there's some big snakes about. I remember in Bundaberg.
But the thing is, with the spider, the small ones are more danger than the bigger ones.
Yeah, because you don't know where they are either. Yeah, for sure.
Like, because they are poisons, or they have more poison, something like that.
Yeah. I think there's you got the redback, the funnel web. There's a few others that are quite bad, but I wouldn't say I'm scared of spiders as much as I am of snakes.
Yeah, for sure.
Because snakes are big. Like I said, in Bundaberg, I remember seeing this python. I think it was a carpet python. I was working on the roads there, and it was just sort of in this little valley. Must have been, I don't know, 3 meters long, just hanging about. Not like a few houses around there, and there's 3 meter snakes just hanging about. I think there's another one near it. Yeah, I wouldn't want to live too much out in the bush, you know. Yeah. There's definitely animals about that ain't small. Do you know what I mean? That ain't no joke. ain't no joke.
Yeah.
And that's a big difference because we ain't got nothing in England. Nothing. I think the most dangerous animal in England is probably a wasp or something.
A what?
A wasp.
What is wasp?
Like a you know, a bee. It's kind of like a bee, more like but it's
a bee. Okay, yeah.
Like a hornet. You know what a hornet is? A hornet. So it's like a small hornet, but these things can sting you. They don't kill you, but these things can sting you. But I think that's probably the most. We do have an adder, which is a snake, but they're very rarely seen. So yeah, coming to Australia where you've got snakes, spiders, sharks, jellyfish.
Jellyfish.
And the magpies are crazy over here.
Yeah.
Wow.
If you are eating something, eh?
Yeah, well, I remember in Brisbane, I used to sit on the balcony, and we was in the city there. I think Spring Hill. I lived in Brisbane, and there was a set of traffic lights outside of my balcony there, and there used to be this magpie that used to hang out on top of the traffic light. And when a cyclist come down and swoop towards the cyclist, and I used to wonder because walking around Brisbane, this is another thing I noticed when I first come to it, was especially in Brisbane. I haven't really noticed it in Perth.
Yeah.
But cyclists used to have like cable ties in their helmet. So they have loads of cable ties in their helmet. So it looks like spikes coming out their helmet. And I was like, why have they got cable ties in the helmet?
Yeah.
It's because of the magpies.
Oh, it's because of the helmet?
Yeah, bro. I can't remember. I was chatting to one guy and I mentioned it. He's like, yeah, that's because the magpies swoop you. And they're just hanging out at these traffic lights or whatever. But the magpies are aggressive. They're not aggressive. Yeah. They're not like that in the UK.
I've seen a video as well. The magpie came in like attacking a guy, you know, like.
Yeah, they don't care. They're ruthless.
Just for fun, you know.
Just for fun. I think it's just because if they're near the nest or whatever. But if they're putting their nest in a public place, you're just walking past it. No bother, man. The animals are active here, right?
Yeah,
the animals are active here. Like there's a lot of kangaroos. There's a lot of stuff going on, and it's quite cool though, man. I kind of like it. I prefer it. You know?
Hey, what is your advice? You know, like if you could give advice for someone that wants to come to Australia, what it would be like?
Advice. My first bit of advice is go to Australia.
Come to Australia.
That is my best advice. Come to Australia, and yeah, just plan it. Mate, save up a bit of money because when you're not working here, it can be quite costly. Yeah. But yeah, just come here with an open mind, and if you're willing to work, you're not going to struggle finding work. Yeah. I don't know what it was like for you finding work. Did you struggle?
No, it was obviously
English not being your first language, it was pretty good.
Yeah, the beginning was a little bit more harder, but once you get used to, you know, like English, and you don't need to be 100% like fluent, but you need to know like basic things, like to communicate with people, and then it will be like okay, you can find a job.
Yeah.
Or you can work, for example, like doing some, I don't know, cleaning.
Yeah, cleaning jobs, labouring jobs, they're pretty easy to come by. But yeah, I think my best advice is just come to Australia, man. Just come here and just see it for yourself. Like, you've got the visas available. Like, you can get a student visa, a working holiday visa, even a visiting visa. I think you can get that for up to a year. But I'd recommend getting the working holiday visa because then you can work. But yeah, the best bit of advice is just
the only thing about Brazil is we do have work holiday visa, but I think it's only 300 per year, something like that.
What do you mean 300? For the visa?
Yeah, they only give us like 300 work holiday visa. 300, like that's the maximum, you know, per year. If I'm not wrong.
Okay. Do you get many people moving to Brazil from work, from outside of Brazil, or is it not the migrants, not really a thing over there?
What do you mean? They move from Brazil?
Do a lot of people move to Brazil for work? So
from here to Brazil?
Anywhere, from like Europe,
it's not Asia. That common. No, it's not that common.
No, not that common. So
no.
Okay.
That's why it's like more difficult to learn English, because we are just there is no one there to talk. That's why I'm doing this interview here with you in English as well. Yeah. Because people can see it, you know, like I remember at that time when I was looking for, you know, like I want to go to Australia, but no English. Like I have to study here, okay. But then you go to school and then you start English there, right? But you go back to your house, Portuguese all the time. You're gonna go to work. There is no one to talk in English.
Yeah, because I guess you speak Portuguese with your girlfriend as well. Yeah.
So you have to, you know, like keep around people that you want
speak
to
English. Yeah.
Speak English.
But do you not study English in school in Brazil? Do you have English lessons?
I used to. I paid for like a private.
Yeah. Okay.
And
because you must have some pretty good English before you came here, because your English is obviously a lot better now. But you must have had like baseline English.
Yeah, basic things like I knew like present.
Yeah.
You know, like future.
Yeah. It is quite a difficult language. You got like there, where, and they're all like spelled differently, mean different things. I can imagine it being.
But I also want to do like interview with people, you know, from I don't know, England, for example, Chris, Canada. I also want to interview Mark.
Nice.
South Africa, right? So yeah, it's good because more people can see us, more people can, you know, that's how it is Australia. That's how it's, you know, like.
You could try maybe doing an interview with someone else from Brazil, but you both talk in English, maybe?
Yeah, but it doesn't happen.
It doesn't happen.
For example, my girlfriend's from Brazil, right?
Yeah,
she speaks better than me, English.
Yeah.
And I told her, let's speak in English sometimes, you know, I need to practice. And she's like, nah, you know, it's just easier. It's just easier in Portuguese. You know? Yeah. I think that's why we are together, though. Like, you know, you want to talk to someone in your own language.
Do you try and talk English with her? Do you try?
Yeah, I tried, but
just talk Portuguese.
Sometimes you just, you know, like talk a few words in English and Portuguese, you know,
okay. So you switch between the two.
Yeah, you switch between there, but it's not the same as, for example, when I'm working there and talking to you guys all the time in English.
Yeah, it's always in
English. Or when I'm at school and talking to everyone as well.
Yeah, because your English, I guess, definitely improves when you're around.
Improves when you're around,
people. Yeah, no, for sure. I've got a friend actually, Leonardo, who I met when I first moved to Brisbane. He was in the working hostel I was at in Bundaberg, and we didn't have much conversation because of the language barrier, but we kept in touch, kept good friends, and now we're having full conversations. His English is so good, nice. But he's got a lot of English people around him, you know, so he's obviously talking a lot. I think he even said to me he even dreams in English now, you know, like, so
nice. I
think just being around it, constantly talking, having conversations in English, you're just naturally going to get a lot better for sure. And you're in the right place to do it, man. Maybe try talking English to your girlfriend a little bit more. Reply in English. Just keep replying in English, even if she speaks Portuguese, you know.
No, I'm gonna do more interviews like that in English.
Nice.
But that's a good advice as well. Like, you have to be around, like, surrounding people that speak English.
Because it's a lot difficult at this age to learn a new language. I think it's a lot easier when you're younger, but.
That's what you did, right? You like are surrounded in Australia.
Yeah, surrounded by Australians. Now I'm saying good day.
Good day, mate. Yeah,
for sure, man.
Good, bro. Thanks for being here.
Nah, no worries. It was a pleasure.
You like
it? Enjoyed it? Yeah, I enjoyed that. That was nice.
That was really good.
That was really good, man.
Guys, please give us a thumbs up and subscribe here. I will also leave you guys here the link that I have from my agents. I mean the agents that I work with. And if you want to come to Australia, just fill it up the link, and they will help you. Okay. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.
Come to Australia.
Come to Australia.
Let's go.